Hi fellow vegans, I hope you're doing great. Today let's talk about IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. What it is, where it comes from, what are the symptoms, what are the causes which are not well understood about this disease, so we can treat it as good as we can with a plant-based diet. Okay, so just give me a couple of minutes of your time. I'm going to explain the ins and outs of this disease so you are covered in this area of your life and you can do the best with your abilities. With your current situation to keep it under control so you can start living life again and don't be taxed forever with this disease. All I ask in return for this awesome video is to just smash the like button down below so this channel here stays in good favor of the YouTube algorithm gods. Okay, let's just jump right into it. First, we have to understand what is IBS, what is irritable bowel syndrome, and actually the causes of the disease are not really well understood. It's linked to sensitivity of your nerves in your gut. It's linked to food passing through your stomach, passing through your gastrointestinal system too slowly or too quickly. It's also linked to a previous infection of your gastrointestinal tract. So there's a couple of things that we need to consider right there. It's also linked with stress, so the gut-brain axis, and all those things. What are the symptoms that you're experiencing if you have IBS? Those symptoms are bloating, are abdominal pain. It's an inability, like either diarrhea or constipation. Those four things are the classic about IBS. Essentially, what it means is that your gastrointestinal tract is not functioning as well as it could be. So I have a couple of notes here how you can improve this area of your life in the most efficient and most sustainable manner. Now, if you go to a doctor, for example, a doctor will prescribe you medication that will treat with the symptoms, usually with the same annotation that you're going to use those medications forever. For example, anti-diarrhea medication, laxatives to make the stool pass through your system more quickly. Stuff like this that treat the symptoms, but they don't really treat the causes of the disease. So today, let's take a look at the causes and how we could possibly treat this with diet. There are essentially three causes that I've came up with that we can possibly treat with our nutritional choices. The first thing is stress. There's a good indication that stress or like enhanced stress at certain parts in our lives is causing IBS or is increasing the symptoms that we experience from IBS. Generally, when it comes to the development of irritable bowel syndrome, it's usually there's two things, okay? You need to have a genetic predisposition for it, and there needs to be an environmental trigger. And this environmental trigger, as we've seen before, can be things such as an infection, but also can be stress, enhanced stress in certain areas or certain times of our life. Now, how can you reduce stress with your food choices? Specifically with a plant-based diet. There are two things that you need to be considering. Number one, you need to reduce pro-inflammatory foods in your nutrition. And this usually means cutting meat, cutting dairy, cutting cheese, cutting all those animal products, those processed animal products that we have out of our nutrition. That's why plant-based diets can be beneficial in treating IBS. Second thing is you want to have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, which means a lot of vegetables, a lot of green leafy vegetables, a lot of berries, a lot of fruits, a lot of green tea, which I'm drinking right here. It's a very anti-inflammatory beverage with a lot of antioxidants. Okay, antioxidants is the key word there. Check out the Daily Dozen app from Michael Greger from nutritionfacts.org. Shows you how to get your antioxidants in with very simple food choices that you can check off every single day. So this is the thing when it comes to stress. There are also some supplements that I can recommend. Specifically vitamin D. In IBS patients, they chronically have less vitamin D and consistently have less vitamin D than other patients at the same age. So vitamin D supplementation can reduce your stress, and then potentially magnesium supplementation before you go to sleep or when you're stressed out. It helps me a lot when I'm facing with a lot of stress, taking magnesium supplement to calm myself down. Okay, the second thing is fiber. What is fiber? Fiber essentially gets digested in your gut only. So it's a very good indication that it's important for your IBS. You have to think about fiber. Fiber, the German word, is actually Ballaststoffe. which means like substances that are not really required. Because before we didn't really think, we didn't really knew what fiber was all about. That's why I just called it like the substance that is not required. But essentially, the more we know about fiber, the more we realize how important it is. Why? Because not we are using the fiber, not we are digesting the fiber, but our bacteria friends in our guts. Actually, like we as an organism, humans, we have more bacterial DNA than we have actual human DNA, because we have way more bacteria in our system than we have like our own cells, which is quite funny. also like our gut is the most biodense place on this planet, which means in no place on this planet are there so many life forms, so much life than in our gut for the surface area that we have there, which is fascinating in my eyes. It just shows that fiber is important for feeding your bacteria friends in your gut. Yes, you have bacteria in your gut. Yes, they help you digest food in a sustainable, efficient way. But the problem is that you can have good bacteria in your gut, and you can have bad bacteria in your gut. And the way you make sure that you have the good bacteria in your gut is you feed them the right food. You feed them the right food. The good bacteria usually thrive on plant-based matter. They thrive on vegetables. They thrive on fruits. They thrive on whole grains like brown rice. And the bad bacteria like bacteroides usually thrives on animal products, thrives on sweets. And if you look at the bacterial colonies actually of IBS and of people that are not suffering from this disease, the IBS patients have way different bacterial colonies, microbiome, than the people that are not suffering from IBS. And usually you see a lot of bacteroides less lactobacillus as normal people have that have a normal gut. Okay, so eat enough fiber. Fiber also helps you by simply pushing the food through your gastrointestinal system in the right speed. And as we've seen before, one of the causes of IBS is food passing through your gut either too fast or too slow. And one of the reasons could be that there's not enough fiber in your gut, so there's no reason why your food should stay in the gut for a certain amount of time, if that makes sense. The third thing, and we've touched upon it just before, is your microbiome, your gut. So I kind of combined those two things at the same time. You need to make sure you have the right bacterial colony in your gut, because again, it's linked with, if you take a look at the colonies of IBS patients and normal patients, they're way different. So make sure you eat enough vegetables. Make sure you eat enough fiber, again, which makes sure that you cultivate the right colonies in your gut. And then you can consider probiotics or a symbiotic supplement. Symbiotic is a fiber supplement combined with a bacterial colony. Probiotics is simply a bacterial colony that you can supplement for making sure that you reduce the symptoms of your IBS. Now, just make sure you need to have a decent amount. If you're supplementing probiotics, you need to have a decent amount of probiotics in your supplementation. Most probiotics are way underdosed. Okay, so you need to make sure, I think up to 1 billion colonies you need to have so your gut actually starts changing. So I've read this in a recent book specifically about the gut. Okay, so make sure you supplement enough probiotics if you decide to do so. 1 or 5 million colonies is not enough, so make sure it's more like up to 1 billion. Then some people might need to restructure their gut microbiome. Okay, so 3 things that are important for you to treat your IBS with lifestyle choices, specifically with the diet, is number 1, make sure you have stress reducing compounds in your nutrition. Number 2, make sure you eat enough fiber so the food passes through your gut in a very predictable and good speed. And number 3, make sure you have the right microbiome in your gut, the right bacterial colonies, so your gut can function properly in the long term. Okay guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If this video was helpful for you, smash the like button. If you want to see further videos like this, subscribe to this channel. And if you want to get coached by me, I'm a vegan fitness coach. I help ambitious vegan professionals lose 5 pounds or more while increasing their muscle mass. You can go to my website, qualitygains.com. You can schedule a free call and you can watch a free training if you decide to do so. Okay guys, have a very nice day. See you next time.